Hi everyone, Professor Simon here, drawing your attention to a new folder that I added to help with your narrative essay. If you come to our course page and click on course content, go to the narrative folder, and you'll see at the end that I have added a new folder with narrative support documents. In this folder you will find this video, tips and pitfalls in written form, an outline form for you to use to write your essay, and a sample narrative of a strong student essay. So what I want to draw your attention to is the tips and pitfalls of issues students have come across with writing this essay. So first of all, you have 3 essay topics that you can choose from. Each of these is a narrative, and it's very important that you read the narrative chapter and pay attention to the elements that are essential for narratives, such as using lots of specific details, time order, and dialogue. The 2 short stories that you read will also help you figure out how to write your own essay. So make sure that you do the pre-writing work, such as reading the chapter, reading the 2 stories, and paying attention to narrative elements. The first option is to write about some value or regret that you did in your younger years. You're going to use narrative techniques to recount the event and the indicator. Hi everyone, Professor Simon here with some tips and pointers for writing your narrative essay. I want to draw your attention to the fact that I added a new folder in our course content in the narrative unit, and it is called Narrative Support Documents. In the folder, you'll find this video, a written form of the tips and pitfalls, an outline that you can use in writing your essay, and a sample narrative written by a student in a previous semester. I really want to draw your attention to this document, which is tips and pitfalls. So you have 3 options. Before you even think about writing this essay, make sure that you read the chapter in your book about narrative essays and what elements make a narrative. So 3 very important things are using very specific details, relying on sense details, and making your writing vivid and specific. The second thing you want to think about is time order. Usually stories are told in the order that the events happened. And the final thing is including dialogue. If you notice in the stories that you read for this unit, the authors use dialogue to show people talking, and that's an important piece of writing a narrative. You have 3 options to write about. Each one of these options is about our unit theme, shaping identity. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about your essay, shaping identity. The other thing is each one of these focuses on one single event, and this can be a challenge for students because often what happens is you write about a school year or a trip somewhere, and what you really want to think about is one event during that school year or one event during the trip that you took, so that you're not talking about a period of time. This is really important for this assignment, and students have a hard time with it. So here are some tips. As I said, read the chapter, read the essays, do the reading closely and strategy structures. These will give you some really good ideas for how you can write your own assignment. Make sure you understand the assignment sheet and what is asked of you. Select one single event, I've already mentioned that, and think about your reasons for telling the story. So it's always important to have a so what to your story. We all have friends who tell stories and we end with so what? There's no point to it. So you want to think about how your story can relate to other people so that how your audience can generalize it to themselves or to the world that we all live in. Here are some guidelines. Please plan. Follow the writing process. Do not submit free writes. They're never academic essays. Use sense details and colors. Proofread carefully for the content. Make sure that it's about a single event and that your readers will be able to understand and follow the events. That means you might need to include some important context or some information around the event to make it easier for somebody to understand. Somebody who doesn't know you. Make sure you have the so what, and always proofread carefully for grammar, mechanics, and clarity. Here are some pitfalls that I have seen students encounter. Being off topic. Again, writing about a period of time instead of a specific single event that happened during that time. No point, so people are like, so what? Not enough details, so that the reader doesn't realize that he is in your shoes. He or she is in your shoes, so that they can experience it, seeing it through your eyes. Turning in an assignment that does not meet the requirements of the assignment, so make sure that you read the assignment carefully and you understand all of the requirements. Not following the guidelines, so MLA format, correct grammar and usage, and passing according to the 101 rubric, which I have already posted. Not proofreading is a big problem. You want to check your work carefully, especially if you don't print out and you're just proofreading from the screen, and missing the deadline. This is a summer course and there's not really a lot of time and the class is full. So remember, I have to read everybody's essays. If you miss the deadline for the draft, you probably won't have time to submit a draft before the revision is due. So you should just plan on submitting a revision for grading, and that you'll really want to make sure is polished. Of course, you can always contact me with questions. We can meet in a Zoom meeting or we can communicate via email. So if you have questions, make sure that you contact me. I hope you find this helpful. See you later.